Hi, this is Vicky, also known as DragonflySoars. Today is Monday, April 28th, and it's about 5:15. And this will be a shorter show because I have a conference call at 6 o'clock. But I wanted to get this recorded, and hopefully I could do some of the processing while I'm in my conference call. That's my hope. And then tomorrow I can have the evening to myself for whatever I want. Normally, best friend is here on Mondays, but today he is taking a class, so he is gone, which also worked out for the conference call. Anyway, this last week was kind of a different week. All of the managers in our area at work, except for me, were on vacation. Sometimes it happens that like a bunch of them will be gone because there's an event going on. It's really rare for us to all of a sudden realize that everybody took vacation the same week. So there was a couple of us kind of holding down the fort. So I used to be a programmer, so I manage a group of programmers, but I don't normally do it myself. But we had so much stuff come up last week that on Friday I was actually helping do troubleshooting for things because I could, and because we needed the bodies. We had a couple guys. One is in China. Two of them were working on something specifically for China, and that left us down to just a couple of us. So I didn't have a lot of knitting time at work. My days were kind of stressful, but at the same time, Friday, there was a woman in the elevator, and she had a song playing on her phone, and she was having trouble getting it to turn off. And she finally got it off, and I was kind of teasing and said, "Aw, I was enjoying that." And she goes, "Well, I can turn it back on." She turned it back on, and we're dancing in the elevator and giggling. It had been a long week. I don't know this woman. I have never met her before, but we were dancing and giggling in the elevator before work even started. When we picked up people on one of the other floors, we got some funny looks, but it was okay. But most of the week was more stressful than usual. However, Thursday, best friend and I got out early because he had bought a Groupon for taking a tour of Palermo's Pizza. And you take the tour, and then you also get pizza, and you get a t-shirt. So, here's our t-shirt. Honorary Italian. The pizza tour was interesting. Most of it was watching they told us about stuff, then we watched a video, then we went out and looked at the plant, but it was just basically one assembly line, so it's amazing how much they put through there. They try and use mostly local stuff where they can. And then we had pizza. We bought some pizza to bring home. So that was a good day. But we had to leave work early because he didn't realize when he signed up for the tour that all the tours are either at 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock. And neither one of those was a great time for us to take off of work, but we decided 3 o'clock was a little better because we could just take off early and not come back. And we both had really long weeks, so we figured that little bit wasn't going to hurt anybody. And I've been also working with the employee in China. So, in fact, I have to talk to him tonight after Australia. But he and I have now worked it out that instead of randomly catching each other, we now have set times. Once in the evening and once in the morning. China, where he is 13 hours off from here. So when it's 8 a.m. here, it's 9 p.m. there. So we're going Central Time, 8 a.m., 8 p.m., which puts it at 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. for him. So those seem the most reasonable times to just touch base, because he's kind of my second in command, and he's missing right now. Well, he's not missing. He's just working at different time zones. It's very difficult. I did pick up... No, this shawl came to me. This shawl came to my house. This is from Suzanne, who's also MISIM, who has... she has a year-long donation for the prizes for the charities. So, and she donated this comfort shawl. And it's really pretty green. It has, let me put a picture here. It has a very nice heft and weight to it. It's really nice. And one of my favorite, I told you guys I really like the cards and notes. Well, I especially like this one. This one's actually going into my special pile at work. This one is a handmade card. It says thanks, and it has 3 heart-shaped hat pins. And it opens up like this. And when I was a kid, I used to do pop-up art. So this reminds me of that. So I thought it was very pretty. And it just says, thanks for being you. So I really like that one. That one's going to work now that I showed you guys. And she remembered to leave the long strings on. Like I said, I didn't remember on any of mine. As long as we're talking about the charities, this one is almost coming to an end. I looked and there are 13 people have done shawls. I don't have all of them, but 13 people have posted on the comfort shawl board so far. One other person who hasn't posted did email me asking for the address. So that means that I believe there will be 14. So thank you all so much. I know this was a huge amount of investment, both in time and money, because the amount of yarn needed does add up. So thank you so much. We also got 4 comfort shawls from KPAR62. She sent them to Mom, so I have pictures of them here. These are the pictures that Kathy posted on our Ravelry board. That was the picture from all of Kathy's pictures put together. Mom actually did take a picture as well, but she said that it was hard to get all 4 of them spread out in the window, so I decided to just steal Kathy's. And I have been remiss. Next month, in May, starts the Mother Bear knit along. And I forgot to tell you guys that if you want the Mother Bear pattern, you need to go to motherbear.org and order a pattern. They don't have downloads. They only mail the patterns. And I meant to tell you a couple weeks ago, and then I meant to tell you and I didn't record because of Dad, and then I just forgot last week. So I'm really sorry, but please go to motherbear.org and order a pattern if you are going to be participating. They will send you a knit pattern unless you specify a crochet pattern. I may order the crochet pattern this time just because, or I may just sort of fudge it because I know what it's supposed to look like. They do have a set pattern though. Also, because the bear is actually knit flat. You knit legs, body, head, body, legs. So you knit it and you have this big flat piece. And then you kind of fold part of it in half, sew the sides of the head together, and you can stuff that at that point. And then you pick up stitches to knit the sleeves. It sounds complicated. A few years back when we did the podcaster throwdown, I actually did a couple tutorials on the Mother Bears. One of them is how to knit it exactly like is in the pattern. It doesn't have all the counts because I was trying to not infringe on their copyright, and I actually told them that I had made them, and they were okay with the way they were okay because I specify in there you still have to order the pattern itself. It just helps you walk through the instructions. And then I also did an adaptation for knitting it in the round. So I will link those two tutorials, but if you search for DragonflySoars and Mother Bear, I believe you'll find them. And if you look on the technique links page of the show notes, they're in there too. Hi. Another page that's on the show notes is Kaylina's Cure, And I do know some of you have donated. Thank you so much. I will post pictures of the possible prizes, but I think the most special ones are the fiber, because if you win the fiber, you could ask me to spin it for you. And then, of course, there is the beautiful, beautiful purple wrap that was donated by Linda. So for any donation 25 or over. So if you donate, please, please let me know. And also let me know that you donated over 25. There was a couple people who told me they donated and didn't tell me the amount, and it just happened that I saw the ticker on the donation page and realized that they donated 25. So I added them to the 25. But if you didn't put your name on the ticker page and you don't tell me, I will have absolutely no way of knowing, and I'm not actually checking that. I just happen to be looking for it. I was trying to see if the page would work. I don't know why in Firefox it keeps forwarding over to, at least for me in Firefox, it forwards over to Yahoo, and I don't know why. Alright, let me post those prices here as long as we're talking about it. And I also posted a couple pictures of bears that I have knit previously, just so you have an idea what the mother bear looks like. I have knit on my fruit gum stripe sock. Not a ton though, because the previous week I was knitting on it when I went to a conference, and there was a whole bunch of times I was knitting it on. I was knitting on it at conference. I was knitting on it at Mom's house. I was knitting on it while I was fixing computers, so I got a lot of knitting on it. This week I did not knit on it very much because I didn't have that much time to knit at work. I knit on some, but not a whole lot. And when I was home, if I was knitting, I was knitting on my knit swirl. And I need to remember, I know everybody that's like from Knitopia that's doing a knit swirl is always talking about how addictive they are, and they're knitting like 2 or 3 of them. I need to remember that I hate purling. I mean, I'm doing okay, but for me purling is so slow. But I am on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 welts done, and I am on the 6th welt. You can't tell really, but this weekend I went to visit friends. I have friends that live about 3-4 hours north, and I don't get to see them very often. And best friend had to go even further north, about another 20 minutes past them, and he had asked me if I wanted to go with him and spend the day with him while he was at class. And so at first I didn't agree, not because of them, but because I was feeling so totally swamped and overwhelmed with life that I didn't want to go anywhere. And I remembered, I love these people, and it would be a shame to miss out on seeing them. So I talked to them and said, hey, would you mind if I hung out with you for a day? And so I hung out with them, and I actually got to spend time with everybody. They have a 9-year-old daughter, and I was friends with the husband first, and then his wife and I became really good friends. They're awesome people. They're awesome separately. They're awesome as a couple. They're just fabulous people. And they have a 9-year-old daughter and a boy who is about 18 months, I think. And a while back, I made the castle blanket, and that was for them. So I got to spend time with everybody. I got to spend time with him. I got to spend time with her. I got to spend time with their daughter. I got to spend time with the baby. We played a game called Enchanted Forest, which is like a Gamer Geek board game for kids, but it was actually interesting enough that the adults were enjoying it, and it's got some strategy to it, and it was just a lot of fun. I'll see if I can find a link to it. And we went for a walk, and it was just, and then the adults, when my guy got back, the adults only went out to dinner together. So it was a good time. It was a very good day. And their daughter actually knit on my knit swirl for a while. She wanted to know what I was doing, and so I was showing her, and she asked if she could. So she actually purled a section. It wasn't perfect, but she said they're very, very diligently concentrating and working through it. So I did go back and adjust some of the stitches that weren't quite right, but there's a section on here that she knit, so, which makes it special. I also, in the mail this week, I don't have a picture of the knit swirl or the sock, an updated picture, because they look pretty much the same. This I got on D-Stash from Rain Lover. It used to be the Rain Lover Knits I'm having a terrible time talking today. The Rain Lover Knits podcast. However, then she didn't podcast for a while, and she lost her website. So now she's decided to just start over, start fresh. If you look, you can't find the Rain Lover podcast anymore, but she now has one called Raindrop Knits. Her name is still Rain Lover, but she was doing a D-Stash because she needed help. She and her husband needed some money to help pay for some stuff, so she was doing a D-Stash. So I picked up this strong sock from another crafty girl in the Mrs. Peacock colorway. So I got it off D-Stash. It's gorgeous yarn, and I got to help my friend Sarah a little bit. So I also got, let me post a picture of that real quick. I also got in the mail my yarn for the Wind in the Willow Mystery Knit Along from the Unique Sheep. And the knit along starts May 16th, I think. I think they'll do the swatch early. I'm kind of hoping, because now I really want to knit with this yarn and see the beads. This is a Foreskin gradient. I have them in order here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, so they'll slowly color change. It's a circular shawl. So, and these actually are close enough that I'm not sure if I'm going to worry about doing there's a transition order where you do, you knit with the first color for a while, and then when you're getting close to the end, you start doing a gradient, and you knit 1 row with the new color, and 5 with the old color, and 2 with the new color, and 3 with the old color, or something like that, until you eventually are totally switched over. I have the counts wrong, but they have a tutorial on their website. Anyway, but I think it's beautiful. I also have, well, here, I just put it back in the bag. I ordered the kit with the beads, mostly because they get the beads from Earth Fair. So it takes a little longer, because then the woman at Earth Fair, I can't think of her name. I want to say Ellen, but I don't actually know if that's true. She picks the beads, and she picks them to go with your yarn. So it takes a little longer for her to pick out and decide on the perfect ones, but she has such a good eye that I'd rather have her pick them up than stress over it. These are my beads. They are silver lined olive 8/0 beads. And this is a beater from She Knits Etsy shop. Now, I bought these before, and I can't find them anywhere because they're so thin. I don't know what I did with them. So I actually ended up, I ordered another set. One for 6/0 beads, which are bigger than this, and the one for 8/0 beads. But you put the beads on, so you have a whole line of them, and it works similar to the crochet hook method because there is a little tiny hook here. Now, she has a YouTube video, so I will just link to the YouTube video so you can see it and link to her shop. Actually, even in her shop, she has a link to the video. But I'll put it in the show notes. So you use it with the crochet hook technique, but you're feeding right off the end here. So I have 60 beads here. Now I don't know if the beads are going to be sporadic and spread out or not, but I know that it will be easier this way. I am not a fan of the floss method, and the crochet hook method, I pretty much, once I'm doing anything beaded, I have to like wait and do it at home, which maybe I'll have to do this at home anyway, but I like the option of being able to carry it around. But it has this rubber, well, this stopper has rubber inside, so it keeps it from keeps the beads from falling off. So that's the other reason I want to do the gauge swatch, because I'm hoping there's beads on the gauge swatch and I can play with this. Because from everything I can tell, it should work absolutely wonderfully. And I had an accident the other day with this. There was a staple here, and I wasn't paying attention, and I went to rip the bag open, and I stuck my thumb right in the staple. It's been kind of a week of injuring myself. You probably noticed the bandage. I did something. I have no idea what. 2 Saturdays ago, when I was visiting Mom over Easter weekend, that Saturday, well, it was either Saturday or Sunday. I don't even remember which day. I think it was Sunday. Yeah, it was Sunday before we left to go to best friend's parents' house for Easter. The dog got loose, and I wasn't thinking about it because he's usually allowed to go loose. But they have a new neighbor who and they have a grandson who's not fond of dogs, so we've been trying not to let the dog out loose. So I went to go catch him. Well, in the process of trying to catch him, I tripped, and I fell, and I caught myself. And I don't remember if I told you guys in December, I did the same thing and caught myself on that arm. And when I was in Canada, I fell down in the lobby and I caught myself on that arm. So this poor shoulder is really taking a beating. Well, my elbow and my wrist were also not feeling great, especially my wrist. Well, then last Saturday, for no apparent reason, right through here is hurting, and it's swollen and it's slightly bruised. And the more I use my hands, the more it's bothering me, which means you might not see a whole lot of knitting from me this coming week, because the chiropractor today did an adjustment on everything, and she said if it had started hurting sooner, she actually would have assumed I broke it. Since it didn't start hurting until a few days later, she said it's possible I just hurt the tendon, and because I hurt my wrist and everything, it's just finally aggravated it. She said, or I have a hairline fracture, which could have just finally stressed enough. Either way, there's not much you can do about it except for not move it. So she told me I have to tape my fingers together so that I stop using them. Which I knit, I spin, and I crochet, and I type all day. Not really sure how this is going to go. But anyway, I think that's everything. I did buy some patterns, but I don't have them to show you. I bought 3 from Josh of the Sort of a Knitter podcast. He has Geonitrix designs. I bought Reticulation, which I've been waiting for him to produce a pattern for, because he's shown the shawl, and to me it looks like a garden maze, especially because he did it in green from Dramatic Knits. But then I also got Greek Fire, which I believe was a mystery knit along, but now it's been released. And then also one called Shattered, which the proceeds from that one are going to sexual abuse awareness or something like that. It's going specifically to his friend Lisa, who I believe is Bunnyfish. And I am, and I know others who have been sexually abused. You know, for me it was college, and which I'm not going to go into, but he really had an interesting take on how he designed the shawl to match with the kind of process somebody would go through. He talked to a few people who had gone through something, and there's a story that goes with the parts of the shawl, and which I, aside from the fact that I thought the fundraising was important, I also thought his description of it was important. And if I can remember which episode he described it in, I will post it, but I believe it's also on the page for the pattern. So, that one I did for the support. So, alright, now that's everything. I need to clean this up and then go log in to work so I can be prepared for logging into my conference call. I will talk to you guys all later. I am planning to record next week on schedule. Hopefully I will be able to have some progress on something. I'm sure I can figure out how to knit without using those fingers. They've been hurting, so I've been trying to knit without using them anyway, so I'll figure something out. I'll talk to you guys all next time. Bye now. I forgot I wanted to post some of my favorite projects from this time, including 3 skeins of handspun. Love them. Thanks. Bye.